Welcome back to another episode of In Case You Missed It, and let's just get right into it because the Western Conference was wild this week, and we got a lot of things to discuss. The biggest team we have to discuss is the Memphis Grizzlies because they look like the scariest team in the Western Conference right now, as they are currently 16-8 and are the 3 seed despite every deficiency they have, and they are one of the best teams in basketball, and it is a dangerous sight for the league. After last season, if you were to tell me the Grizzlies have a record of 16-8 through their first 24 games, and Ja Morant has only appeared in 14 of them, you would assume they would not be atop the West after last season. Then you look at the fact Desmond Bane is a shell of himself right now, as through his first 17 games, he is averaging under 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists on his career worst efficiency. You have another big-time concern, as he is supposed to be the second option on this team, and he has been awful. Ja Morant is not healthy, Desmond Bane is playing terrible basketball, and the injury bug that demoralized them last season is very much a reoccurring theme this year. So how the hell are they the 3 seed? Well, it is simply because they have a bunch of dogs on their bench, the depth of this team is elite, and players are overachieving on both ends. They have 2 rookies, one better than the other, but both have been making huge contributions to the success of this team. Jalen Wells is the best perimeter defender in their starting 5, and he has been a great complementary player on offense, justifying his stance as a Rookie of the Year frontrunner. With Ja missing time, their third option has been their best player, as he has started this season off with a career year. Jaren Jackson Jr. is having a career best offensive season while continuing to be a good defender. His two-way presence so far in 2025 is really eye-opening, as if he can sustain what he is doing in the playoffs, the Grizzlies will be in a whole new tier of good. The bench unit of Santi Aldama, Scottie Pippen Jr., Jake LaRavia, and Jay Huff may be one of the most underrated bench units in the NBA, as they change the entire momentum of games when they come in. Brandon Clark being healthy this year has done wonders to this team's starting 5. Marcus Smart has embraced a bench role with this team, as he sacrificed his starting spot to be the leader off the bench, which is one of the best things for the Grizzlies. Vince Williams Jr. and Gigi Jackson have not touched the court yet this season. Imagine what will happen when they get these two back. A 3 seed battling injuries all season to their stars as well as key players. A 3 seed despite not having 2 of their best young players from a year ago. And a 3 seed in the best conference we have honestly ever seen. With all of these issues that would normally derail any team. The Memphis Grizzlies have to be the most dangerous team in the NBA, as they are playing with a desperation to prove that last year was a fluke, and they have their grit and grind identity that kept them atop the West back. Things are scary, and this team is coming for revenge. 28 points, 14 rebounds, and 11 assists. 27 points, 20 rebounds, and 11 assists. 56 points, 16 rebounds, and 8 assists. These 3 stat lines were Nikola Jokic's stats in each of the Nuggets' 3 losses this week. This is absolutely unacceptable for a team that is supposed to be a contender. No matter how great and generationally dominant the run Jokic is on right now, the Nuggets cannot win basketball games. To make matters worse, in the game Jokic went for 56, it was against the Washington Wizards, the same team that was on a 16-game losing streak. The issues for this team are very clear, however, they really cannot address them as they have no flexibility whatsoever to make trades. Jamal Murray forgot to show up to this NBA season, and the defense for this team is atrocious as elite guards continue to torch them night in and night out. There is a real concern about this team right now, and things are not looking good at all for the Denver Nuggets as their hopes diminish daily. Without any doubt in my mind, I can say the Dallas Mavericks are the 3rd best team in the NBA. I have seen countless games this season that they have had no business winning, yet they still come out on top. For example, this week against the dangerous Grizzlies, they should not have had any chance to win that game, let alone keep it competitive, as they were playing horrible basketball. The firepower from this team, however, led them to a shocking comeback win, but everything stemmed from their defense in that game. The Dallas Mavericks, who are led by Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, had their team pull off a miraculous comeback stemming from their defense. That is just not real. PJ Washington continues to be a dog. Quentin Grimes is proving that the Knicks should have just kept him, as he plays winning basketball as one of the best 3-and-D players in the league, and that is not ridiculous to say at all. Spencer Dinwiddie in Dallas has stretches where he looks like an all-star. Derek Lively, although not getting as much recognition, is outperforming any and all high expectations as he continues to be a huge interior presence on both ends of the floor, while having one of the best IQs for a big in the entire league. Daniel Gafford does his job. Najee Marshall has been amazing. Longtime vets Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber are perfect system and role players for the team. Jaden Hardy has been good. Klay Thompson, who despite his struggles has been a great vet to add to the team. I said it recently, but until the playoffs, we can't really make a stance on the Klay signing because he was brought in for how he can impact the team in the playoffs, not the regular season, and we are not in the postseason yet. This team is clicking on both ends, and I won't lie to you all. Do not be surprised if they go on a more dominant run than last year's playoff run. The Thunder and Celtics are the only teams that look like they can beat them. They beat the Thunder last year, and both teams are better than before, so I can't quite say the Thunder are much better than them, even after adding iHeart and Caruso. These two teams will meet in the Western Conference Finals if there are no injuries, and it will be another generationally good matchup. I just don't think I am hearing enough about the Mavericks right now, especially considering they are the only team on the Thunder and Celtics level. The final Western Conference team we need to spend some time on this week is the Los Angeles Lakers, as they haven't just been losing, but they have been getting absolutely embarrassed. Against the Heat, there were mental lapses that no NBA team should ever have, as players simply didn't know who they were guarding, how to play the screens, and many other issues. Then on the final play against Atlanta, when Trae Young gamed them, they basically left him wide open. What were the Lakers doing on defense? Then offensively, they did a better job against the Hawks compared to the rest of the week, but they are no longer emphatic on getting AD the ball down low to let him dominate games, likewise to how they were when they started the season hot. The Lakers have been a disaster of late, and the next scapegoat is slowly being put together as the horrid play continues. Moving out east, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, who continue to dominate as they actually beat the Celtics this week, which was massive, as they redeemed themselves for the performance they put together a while ago, which was atrocious. The New York Knicks may be inconsistent still, but they have looked better of late. I do have to say, though, that this week we saw a clear flaw in the team that is going to hurt them, as the starting five's minutes per game are absolutely absurd. For example, in a 24-point win over the Hornets this week, Mikal Bridges played 47 minutes of a 48-minute game. What is that? This is not sustainable for an entire season, and given how the players broke down in the postseason last year, this is very alarming. Forget the score of the game even. I mean, they blew the Hornets out. I just really don't see how playing a player 47 minutes in a game that does not go to overtime is justifiable to anyone, especially in the regular season. Headed back to the West, my Suns proved yet again this week that without KD, we are nothing, as we lost games we simply put should not have lost. Not ideal at all. One of the teams we lost to was the New Orleans Pelicans, who have had a lot of issues as well this year, most notably the fact they have the worst injury luck of the season so far, as they have had multiple G League roster games, and it shows in their record. After seeing how well they played this week, though, I am wondering if they could make a big push to get themselves back into competition in the Wild West. But Brandon Ingram, trade rumors, they're heating up. Maybe we'll talk about them next week more. The Houston Rockets suddenly collapsed this week as they had bad showings, most notably the game that started it all, which was their loss in Sacramento. In the game, we saw multiple ejections and technicals for Rockets players and coach, as they were unhappy the entire game, as the officiating was, let's just say, less than ideal. They didn't put the game behind them, and the Warriors beat them without Curry because of it. I'm not going to overthink this week, as the Rockets have looked great all year until this, but at the same time, they had horrible showings this week, which sucks because they won a huge game against the Thunder to open the week, but it is overshadowed now. Breaking news this week, as Franz Wagner tore his right oblique in the midst of an all-star season, as he has been amazing while leading the Magic atop of the Eastern Conference without Paolo. Such a brutal loss for Orlando, as this can have major implications on the Eastern Conference standings. And also, Franz was just dominating this week too. Get well soon. Jordan Poole against the Nuggets had 39 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists to end the Wizards' 16-game losing streak. Jonathan wants a max contract. Kuminga went off for 33 to lead the Warriors to a win over the Rockets without Curry. Cade Cunningham had an amazing game at Madison Square Garden, as he dropped 29 points, 10 rebounds, and 15 assists in a big win over the Knicks. And the last performance was Trae Young's amazing game against the Lakers, as he had 31 points and 20 assists, as well as a game winner. Your awards this week will be headlined by the MVP, and the MVP was Luka, as he had 2 triple-doubles this week, as he averaged 31 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 9.5 assists a game this week, as the Mavericks went 4-0. The surprise player of the week was Evan Mobley, as he played amazing basketball all week on both ends, and even had a career-high 41 points to end his week. And he just so happens to be on the team of the week, which is the Cleveland Cavaliers. A 4-0 week for the Cavs as they had a huge win over Boston, as well as beating the Nuggets, Wizards, and Hornets. I mean, last two teams weren't great, but you get what I'm saying. The worst team of the week was the Los Angeles Lakers as they went 1-3, and their only win they honestly have to thank Will Hardy for, as he called a timeout before Sexton got a bucket. Horrible showing for LA this week, and they earned this award. Weekly tradition says that we have our power rankings, and the power rankings are on the screen right now, so check those out. Feel free to pause the video. This has been another episode of In Case You Missed It, the weekly recap on this channel that drops every Monday at 3. Comment down below a team you want me to discuss in next week's video. And if you want to see my ranking for every NBA team so far in a tier list, we got favorites, contenders, pretenders, overrated tier, and the dark horses. If you want to check that out, that video's on the screen. Y'all stay safe. Have a good one. Bye. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as it does help out a lot.